my story, I think I've been relearning French or learning it the fun way for about 18 months. Might be a little bit longer. Uh, and the idea was to be able to communicate with lots of French rugby fans at the Rugby World Cup, which I managed to spend 5 weeks of the competition there and 13 games. So I had lots of practice, and it was great fun, really, really good fun. I found myself as a late night translator in many a bar and cafe between my travel buddy who refused to learn or speak any French and lots of very, very friendly local and also travelled French people as well. It was great.
Yeah, what was it like? What reaction did you get from the French people when they realized, oh my God, an English guy or an Irish guy is actually speaking real French? Like, what was the reaction? Were they shocked or?
Pleasantly surprised, particularly we did get to go to a lot of different places around France and didn't just stay in the cities. So the more remote and to be honest, the more central, the far less English was spoken anyway, which was excellent. And I found it really useful, just walking or bimbling, exploring the towns or cities for the day. Uh, Particularly when I was on my own, I could speak to more people and do things like read tourist signs that are in French because there wasn't a lot of English around. And yeah, it was really good. I spent 2 terms learning Latin and 2 terms learning German or attempting to. And bizarrely, as Tony was just saying there about certain French words that just stick in your head, I've got complete Latin sentences in my head. Well, no idea what they mean, but I obviously had them programmed into me. I really should look them up, I guess. But it was, I think, well, from what Megan said, that really struck a chord for me. You, all I remember of school is having language lessons, and then that was it. Thank heavens, and then staring at a load of words or some sentences that night, maybe, or at the weekend that you had to learn for for a test or something just to consolidate. But no, never ever dream of speaking the language with any students. Not a chance. I just want to share something with you, Pat. Again, it's just listening to everyone talk, and it's only a couple of weeks ago, but I was lucky enough to be on a diving trip off the coast of Borneo. An absolutely amazing experience, but on a desert island. And one evening, I found myself in a restaurant with my son James, who speaks Bahasa Indonesian, and we met a French couple who were speaking. They speak Indonesian. They were speaking to the restaurant owner. James started speaking to them. I started speaking to them in French. We had a conversation for about 20 minutes, various languages. The only thing that didn't happen, James and myself never spoke English to each other. It was really cool, and it was only after the French couple got up and left, and we'd said promised we'd go meet them on their island a couple of days later. That I said we didn't actually speak any English then, did we? No, no. It was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We had a fantastic time, but that was such a cool highlight of it. And again, thank you, because I'd never have had the confidence to do that. I wouldn't have said a word for sure. But yeah, it was brilliant. Pat, I'd like to just throw something. At very early doors, you said to me, it was a great piece of advice, was you have to think of what the French will is like. And I am definitely a different character when I'm in French will mode. I, I I'm certainly not very confident, but I'm quite relaxed and chilled, and I'm not worried about making mistakes. And that really is it gives you a great boost. Certainly, I find that when I do try to speak French, and you're far more likely to get help from the locals, but you're making an effort. And I think it was Simone said earlier. she had compliments about her French accent. I think mine's too good because I haven't got the language to back up the confidence in the initial French will accent, and I'm starting to wonder what the Italian will be like. Oh my, I think I need to stop watching old mafia movies. That's for sure. But but that really for me was the best bit of advice. Trying to think in French. And the other thing that was really cool, I've had a couple of dreams in French, and that's really odd. You wake up and go, "Oh mon Dieu," because it's just so bizarre, and it was a lot easier to remember as well the content of it, which I don't normally do. But yeah, the inner you in that language, great piece of advice. Thank you very much. Well, I'll go on. For me, it was easy because, particularly being in France for the Rugby World Cup, it's one of the sports I know quite a lot about. I'm very passionate about it. I played it, and so the conversation that you assisted me with and that we practiced, I'd done a lot of rehearsals. The difference was the mistake I made was I hadn't had 5 or 6 beers before our lessons, because I found most of my fluent French conversations were après le match. But yeah, it was really, really fun to be able to do. I guess it's inhibitions, isn't it? If you drop your inhibitions, you don't worry about making a mistake. It's all good.